Hello, my name is Michael Bowyer. Today I'll be presenting my summary of a research paper which I read titled A Preventative Secure Software Development Model for Software Factory, a case study within the context of the ECE574 Fall 2022 course. The general outline of this presentation will first be an introduction of what the paper is and what it contains, then go through the motivation of why the paper was written, where it lies in the remainder of the literature using related work. Then I'll review the key contributions as well as describing the key model that's presented titled View Next UEX. Finally, I'll go through the results that were obtained through a commercial experiment ran with this new model, and finally provide a conclusion and some additional thoughts on what I thought about the paper itself. The paper's title is a Preventative Secure Software Development Model for a Software Factory, a case study. It was presented and written by a few people from the University of Extremadura within Spain, as well as another from the School of Technology in Caceres, also within Spain. They published this paper in April of 2020 in the IEEE Access Volume 8. Inside of it, there was a special section on the emerging approaches to cybersecurity. So what was the motivation of this work? So there's an ever-present cyber attack threat for almost every software product on the market today. Security is really becoming a major challenge for essentially every software development company. It's really a high cost to fix any security vulnerabilities, especially when a software product is deployed into production. And reacting to these issues after their design and implementation are most expensive. It's much easier to catch and fix them during the design and analysis phase rather than after development. There's really just a simple need to have every software secure by default when being deployed. So the related work in this kind of area, regarding secure by default, there's a couple of classic software development models that are adopting a reactive approach with respect to security. So developing a product for a function rather than security, and then reacting later on to fix security problems. They did a literature survey which involved finding essentially seven existing secure frameworks, which kind of enable some proactive measures. Really all of them are aiming to provide a security by default in product development, and really most of them taking a proactive approach. The authors put together a very nice Venn diagram which describe how the seven frameworks which I mentioned overlap and contrast with one another. You can see here in the center they have a lot of established similarities. The authors claim that any new secure software development model must contain common elements of the existing model's similarities, so anything new has to incorporate that center core. That center core really has a focus on vulnerability identification and correction, as most security applications you would expect to. And finally, they claim that none of these existing approaches propose a new security activity to adapt to the current needs of secure by default software development. I felt this claim was unsubstantiated. They didn't provide any context as to why that was the case or any evidence as to how the existing approaches were insufficient. All right, so what are the key contributions of this paper? Obviously, that Venn diagram provided a nice in-depth comparison between the existing software development models for security by default. They also propose a new secure software development model, which is titled View Next UEX, and that's proposed throughout the paper. They take this proposal and it's validated against a commercial software case study, so actually employing it in a real commercial product and comparing it to development of a commercial product that's similar without this proposed method. And finally, they kind of prove that this software security is methodologically improved with the application of this model. So really that the result is you have improved security if you follow this model. All right, so what is the View Next UEX model? So they lay it out as 4 key development areas for a model. The first is policies. Here they define the guidelines and global security objectives of the project. So there's 3 tasks within it, the strategy and orientation. Here you orient employees as to what security goals of the project actually are. Training is just simply training employees on common security vectors and vulnerabilities. Definition of risk is specific to the industry, so defining specific risks inherent to the industry and the product being developed. SDL is secure development methodology. Here the goal is to develop and design the project to achieve the usual functionality used in classical methods, but also includes security specific protocols to ensure security goals are met. So there's a couple tasks here. The requirement validation, so this is typical requirement elicitation, generation, analysis, but also includes security requirements in addition to functional ones. There's also threat modeling to model potential threat vectors of the product. There's a design review, which includes specific criteria to security. There's also the key development revisions based on that review findings. There's security testing, which is done by external parties to truly verify that security requirements are met. And then there's also output validation, which ensures security objectives are obtained throughout the end of the project. Then the next is supervision. So the objective here is to continuously monitor the progress towards the project's security goals. The task is to actually provide some metrics to continuously monitor the security of the product. And then finally, state of the project. So there's a few key differences of this model from others, and the first one is the state of the project. Here, this activity is proposed to avoid the loss of current security perspective of the project. The aim is really to continuously verify that security compliance of the project is being met throughout the throughout the project. So continuously giving, those state of the project updates with regards to security. Next up is the observatory. Here the objective is continuously surveil to find unknown vulnerabilities and document past vulnerabilities for resolutions. So in here there's a few tasks. The first is the response plan and incidents. Here this defines the action plan for identifying, evaluating, and resolving incidents. The next is the security observatory. This one also is a unique difference compared to other models. And here, really, this is just the active search for new vulnerabilities in the market and trying to resolve them proactively. There's also the vulnerability repository. So this is really just a database that a company is expected to maintain that contains information about vulnerabilities, their past resolutions, and how the company handled it in the past, and anything they may have learned from it in the past. And finally, they provide an outline of when each of these tasks needs to be done throughout the project, but I won't go into details here. So this new proposed method was then put to the test in a commercial experiment. The context of this experiment was done with a company called ViewNet, which is an information technology service company based in Spain and Portugal. In this study, two different but similar software products were provided to an electrical industry customer of ViewNet's. The products were developed by a team of 15 developers. So the procedure was that the first product was developed using classic methods and then was evaluated, audited for security vulnerabilities. So you can see it was developed, evaluated, and audited, and then finally the vulnerabilities were resolved. The second step was to develop a similar product with the same 15 developers, but this time using the emerging method, which is known as the ViewNet method I mentioned earlier. And here you can see they had more phases. So they had some security training, secure ecosystem, so secure tool selection, and then the integration model. So this one was essentially the outline of those 4 phases or 4 groupings of activities, which I provided in the last slide. And then the same evaluation and audit was performed, and then the vulnerability correction was also performed. Okay, so the results that were obtained, the product development duration was actually quite different between the first product and the second product. This is just due to the different products that were developed throughout the case study. You can see that the classic product development took a lot longer than the emerging, just due to simply different requirements of the project, nothing more. And you can actually see that the authors broke down the percentage of time spent during different phases for the classic approach and the emerging ViewNet approach. Some 2 key findings were that the new emerging approach spent a lot more time in design and analysis, trying to account for security vulnerabilities, but spent significantly less time in the vulnerability fixes, which are much more costly in terms of time spent. Some additional findings were the vulnerability severity classification. So you can see in this graph all of the vulnerabilities found in both products are classified due to severity. It can be seen that the emerging model has fewer vulnerabilities found, but also generally less severe findings. There were some identified issues that were common, so they were found in both classic and emerging. And also emerging had some unique vulnerabilities, and this indicates that the new model that's presented in this paper is not simply a silver bullet to ensure secure by default. Okay, so some final thoughts on the paper. The new proposed secure software development model titled View Next UEX was proposed. There are some novel ideas to improve security proactivity. I didn't really find these new ideas to be that novel, but I suppose the combination of them in the security context is what makes them novel. And yeah, these novel ideas certainly force projects to dedicate more thought, commitment, and resources to security in general. So the case study results for me were not completely persuasive. The development team competency growth after the first project was a big one. You know, if you have a team that developed a product, went through the whole security analysis process and tried to fix vulnerabilities, they already have built up competency regarding how to handle security vulnerabilities and maybe put more forethought into them. So that's kind of a drawback of their results. I also found that the difference in project size could really explain a lot of the reduced vulnerabilities. I mean, a larger project in general is expected to have more vulnerabilities and more surface vectors. So, you know, simply the sheer number of vulnerabilities found isn't that indicative in my opinion. And finally, yeah, some unique issues to the emerging method indicate it's not perfect. Obviously, there were still some vulnerabilities found. Yeah, but there's promising results. I mean, generally investment towards security indicates a good payoff. And I think theoretically, you know, all the proposed methods are really superior to the existing method proposed. So all in all, I think I would give the paper about a 4 out of 5 stars, as it does provide some really good ideas to better handle security protocols within a software development project, albeit still needing some additional data set to kind of validate that further. Okay, that's all. Thanks for listening. Take care.